And this is Nancy Grace covering some information about Diddy's parties. Oh, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Donate to the Cash App. It's on the screen. This is going to be one of the hottest YouTube channels in the history of YouTube. It's going to grow really quickly. Oh, and I've got something to tell Diddy. Diddy, you're a freakazoid.
Breaking news tonight, Diddy party, cocktail, cocaine, and horse trank. That's horse tranquilizer. Did he actually feed this to his guests? This while Sean Combs' mother.
Yes, Nancy said horse tranquilizer. What type of prevert are you, Diddy? Nancy, I love your delivery. I love your hairstyle. Let's continue.
Drops a bombshell. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry. The wall of silence has now been broken. Victims are coming forward.
Diddy, you're a super freak. A super freakazoid. Yes, you are.
We now represent 120 individuals against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities. The names that we're going to name are names that will shock you.
We understand that a lot of Hollywood celebrities are shaking in their boots because they know they are going to be named, not by the feds, by the civil lawyer, Busby. And remember this, the prosecutors are held to a certain ethical duty as prosecutors.
Let me stop right there. So, I have heard some of the supposed names on this list. Sure, you have to. But this is like something out of like a comedy movie, kind of. I mean, it's not funny, but preachers, well-known preachers, and hosts of game shows, powerful people, mayors, all of y'all are some freakazoids.
The civil arena is a whole nother animal. There is nothing to stop Busby from naming celebs, taking names, and naming them out loud. So we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. This, as we learned, that Diddy's party cocktail, that's certainly putting perfume on the pig. Some people call it the cocktail. Their words, not mine. Includes...
Hush your mouth. What did you just say, Nancy? Let me rewind that.
Call it the cocktail. Their words, not mine.
I don't know what you just said, Nancy. Proceed.
Includes cocaine and horse trank. Listen.
Diddy, what type of freaky stuff are you on, man? Horse tranquilizers. Oh, you know what? I've decided I'm not going to curse anymore. But I will say this. Diddy, you're a dirt box.
Several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment, were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or TRANK, which based on...
And is that why Diddy has people, including himself and his mother, and people at the parties taking IV drips? Because they put all these drugs in their systems and they're going all night long, I guess, with the freakazoid parties. And then they have to kind of be, because I guess they're close to the edge, maybe like a few steps away from death sometimes. So, and in probably some cases people have died. We'll hear about that. But Diddy the good citizen that he is, was providing not only TRANK, but IV drips for people. You go, boy. You're a good man.
Our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Horse tranquilizer. If it knocks out a horse, what does it do to a lady? Say average weight 105 to 125.
God.
What does that do to a human being? You heard Tony Busby, the
You tell him, Nancy. Tell him why you mad. Tell him.
civil lawyer who is getting thousands and thousands of calls on a Diddy hotline, refer to xylazine, known as TRANK. It's a veterinary tranquilizer. It's found in illicit drugs. And this is what we've learned from speaking to experts. It slows breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure to dangerously low.
Okay, Diddy, so you'll probably never hear this, but if you do, are you in your cell thinking, why couldn't I just have been a good person? Why was I trying to drug and force people to have sex with me? Because I would venture to say 50 to 75% of the people that you wanted to have sex with, men and women, would have did it without coercion. But you had to add this extra layer of being a super freakazoid dirt box. And now you are in a federal jail. Nancy, we are listening to you, baby. Let's go.
Levels. It's very hard to reverse. Overdose reversal meds like Narcan do not reverse the effects of xylazine. In other words, for instance, Prince, when he OD'd on an opiate, possibly fentanyl, Narcan, if he had had it, would have saved his life. If you OD on xylazine, there is not a drug reversal antidote. Wow. Joining me an all-star panel to make sense of what we know tonight. But first, straight out to Alex.
Look at the faces of these people. Look at... She looks like she's about to get it in. I don't know what to make of her. She's like, we got you, boy. I don't know what to make of her face. He looks like he is on tweak mode. He's about to turn up. And he looks like an attorney. I don't know. I'm guessing. Let us continue. Nancy, go.
West joining us, investigative and entertainment reporter with The Mirror. Alex, thank you for being with us. Horse trank and cocaine at a party, and guests reportedly didn't know that they were being drugged with that?
Yeah, we've heard that over and over again in all the, not all, but at least a good part of the civil lawsuits that have come forward so far. We don't yet know how many of the 120 that Busby is planning.
Look at this freakazoid. Look at this person here. Who is that? Okay. He looks like he's like sticking his buttocks out. Oh, Diddy, you are such a dirt box.
On filing will.
You know what? I actually was thinking about this. You know, we have all transgressed. But when you transgress to this level, you have to pay your debt. But I will say, his debt is owed, but I kind of feel sorry for Diddy. Because I think if he would have envisioned where he's at right now, he probably would have had different behavior. But Diddy is like most human beings. He's a little bit more extreme. And what I mean by that is that you had to learn the hard way, buddy. Let's continue.
Involve those drugs. It's also worth noting that when Diddy was arrested in the hotel room, allegedly there was a pink powder, an unidentified pink powder that was found in his hotel room.
And Dr. Bethany Marshall joining me, renowned psychoanalyst, joining us out of LA, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock. Bethany, I think twice before I even take a baby aspirin, for Pete's sake. It's one thing if you take the drugs, but drugging someone else, especially without their knowledge, and using something as volatile as this drug.
Diddy may have aggravated charges with the drugs. So then that turns it into a different sentence. You're using horse trank. And what makes it, and I'm not an attorney, I'm just going off what I believe to be true. But if he was giving trank to people and they didn't know, so then he possibly, correct me if I'm wrong if you're an attorney, but if it's a deadly drug like Nancy's saying, that could almost be considered like attempted murder. Kind of like if you deal heroin, I believe that can come with an attempted murder if they want to give you an aggravated charge on that. If you're an attorney, let me know. I don't want to be speaking wrong information, but yeah, Diddy, you are in a world of trouble. Continue, Nancy. Thank you.
Xylazine, I believe it's called.
Well, keep in mind the xylazine, because it's a horse tranquilizer, causes amnesia, what we call anterograde amnesia, meaning that the victim won't remember what happened while they're on that drug. And the cocaine keeps them active enough that they can participate in sex acts.
Let's see if we can find out who some of these freakazoids are in here. Does anybody recognize anybody? Who is this guy? He looks like a freakazoid. He looks like a freakazoid. Let's see. There's the king of the freakazoids. Who else is in here? I don't really recognize anybody. But this is a lot. That's a lot of people. Maybe I should blow this up at some point and see if we can start picking people off. Start betting on who's about to get turned up on next in the courtroom. Anyway, Nancy, please continue.
Outside of their conscious awareness. So this is a very sinister thing to do to people. And then remember,
Yes.
he was taping the victims the whole time. So who would do this? A psychopath,
And a dirt box.
a sociopath, somebody
Yes.
who has no regard for others, somebody who's a
Yes.
sadist, as we've been talking about.
I mean, look at Diddy right there. Diddy has been staying fresh to death for a long time. Dressing really jiggy. He's got his little jewelry on. Okay, a little fur coat, pouring dual hands of champagne. It's probably his liquor, right? Getting jiggy with it out there. And he's been doing this for so long. And I bet you he never thought that his dirt box ways were going to catch up with him. But got him. Let's go, Nancy.
That the infliction of cruelty makes him, that he enjoys doing that and putting them in humiliating positions. And then Nancy stalking them after this, because once he tapes them on the xylazine and the cocaine, it
Okay. Any dirt boxes in there? Now this cat, he looks familiar. Look at this cat. He's got his lips puckered up. That looks like a fake, I'll be sure, genuine looking guy. I mean, look at Diddy. He's got a clean suit on, looking fresh. Let us proceed.
appears as if they're voluntarily participating in the sex acts, so that he can use that video against them and stalk them for the rest of their lives.
Eric
Yes.
Faddis is joining me, renowned trial lawyer, TV legal analyst, partner at Varner Faddis Elite.
I mean, that is some diabolical stuff. Like that, Diddy has thought on levels that most people are not thinking. To use their participation. And the crazy part is if these people are high and they don't even know that they have been drugged and Diddy videos it. And you know what? There is this other guy. His name is Smart. He's a rapper. And he told a story of how he mentioned G Unit, but I don't know if that's true. So don't quote me. Allegedly, how they would get new rappers who wanted to sign to the label, and they would, let them hang out in the studio, let them drink and smoke with people who they don't know. And then, I don't even know if I should say this, but I will. I'll try to be delicate. Then they would have them videoed after they're high and drunk. It appeared to, according to what this guy is saying, it looked in the videos after they taped it like the guy who was high and drunk out of his mind is willfully having sex with other men, but he's under the influence because he drank and then he smoked and did whatever type of drugs they did, and he could be someone who never even did drugs before, right? But he wakes up the next day and then he's presented with a contract that is extremely bogus. And they threaten him. They say, hey, you signed the contract, and if you don't, we'll release this tape to the world. Now, if G Unit, which is ran by 50 Cent, I hope that's not the case, because then your number's coming up too. So all of that is alleged, and I'm going to do a video on that too, and I'll let you guys see this guy Smart the rapper saying this, right? He's actually a pretty smart cat too. But my point is, if that is what Diddy has been doing, yeah, you are a super dirt box. But let us proceed. Nancy.
Legal, former felony prosecutor. Eric, thank you for being with us. We keep hearing about sex attacks on victims, but here, this is a serious aggravated assault. We typically think under the law of aggravated assaults, which...
That's what I was alluding to. That is aggravated. Meaning you're going to get a stiffer sentence. Kind of like if you got into a fist fight, punched a guy, and then he fell, hit his head, and died. Okay, that's manslaughter, right? And if you're an attorney, if I'm saying this wrong, correct me. But now, if you're in a fist fight, you punch a guy, and then you hit him in the head with a bat, and then he falls, and he dies. Now it's aggravated. You added on to the situation by introducing a weapon. That will bring you stiffer penalties. Nancy, preach.
Many jurisdictions carry 20 to life behind bars as shooting somebody with a gun or stabbing them. They live. It's described as putting someone in fear of serious bodily harm, immediate fear. But in this case, it's not a knife, it's not a gun, it's horse trank mixed with cocaine. That's the allegation.
God.
That's a whole nother set of felony charges that, if this is proven, could nail Diddy.
That's what I was trying to explain, and Nancy, you took the words out of my mouth. Church, let's go.
Yeah, Nancy, I mean, the allegations are pretty sinister here. And the difference is that they're alleging that it's sexual assault by coercion. So overcoming someone's will. And that's where these drugs come into play. Allegedly, they allowed Diddy to make sure that the victim could not consent, but also could not defend themselves. Really. didn't know exactly what was going on, but was present enough to participate in the alleged sex acts. And so, yeah, that is the allegation here, and it's certainly problematic for
My
Diddy.
God.
Joining me right now, death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet, and star of a hit series, Body Bags, with Joseph Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, what is horse trank? I mean, look, if it knocks out a horse, what will it do to a person?
It'll take them down to their knees, Nancy. Xylazine is specifically what they're referring to in this particular case. And so it's used, it's a non-opiate related substance. So you're not talking about something necessarily like a fentanyl here, or like some kind of synthetic opiate. What we're talking about is something that it's expressly meant to use on equines, which are horses, in order to sedate them for surgery. So yeah, it can be. And here's another thing with xylene. It can in fact be mixed with fentanyl, which makes it particularly dangerous. And they're seeing this out on the streets now. So this is something that's been around for a minute, but it is something that certainly the DEA is aware of.
Guys, joining me is death investigator, forensic expert, Joe Scott Morgan. Now joining me, Cheryl McCollum, joining us from the field, also forensic expert, host of a hit series, Zone 7, and founder of the Cold Case Research Institute. Cheryl, help me think this through.
I mean, Diddy, what type of demonic force are you, homie? You could have just been nice. You could have just been a nice, loving person. Not this brother love who you are now. But you could have been just a fair, civil person. Let me think of somebody who would be a good example. I mean, this may not be a good example. Master P seems like he's been a pretty level-headed dude for a long time. Like, I have not heard any stories of him being abusive to anyone. Now, maybe when he was younger, he probably could have been involved in some things, right? But for the most part, I have never heard people talking about him in the negative way that I've heard people talking about Diddy for many years. What is wrong with you, man? What's wrong with being good all the time? What's wrong with that, Diddy? But now it's hammer time. Nancy, preach.
My immediate reaction is you can't prove it to a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, so don't put it in the pot. You know how it ruins a case when you have one weak link, the weak sister in the case? You have to get rid of that. You have to cut it out. But is there a way to prove it? Not just rumor, not just innuendo, not what 1,000 people say. It doesn't matter, because if they don't know what the substance is, clinically, scientifically, look, let me put it like this. Okay, when I try a coke case, okay, we'd do a bust, there'd be a drug lord, we'd find the false wall, the fake wall, we'd find all the money and the drugs behind the wall, the dog would find it.
Yes.
I can't just say, hey, I found a bunch of white powder, convict him. All the defense would have to do is say, you know what, he hoards baby powder. They can say anything. But if you can't prove what the substance was, you don't have a case. Did you hear what Joe Scott Morgan just said? That the raid on Diddy's home, what if that yielded horse trank? What can we do with that, Cheryl McCollum?
Yes, Cheryl. What do we do with that? Diddy, do you know what we do with that? I think you got an idea. Preach, Nancy.
There's 4 things you can weave together. 1, some of these victims sought medical treatment. Those medical records and the result of that blood work they can get. You've got eyewitnesses at these parties. Perhaps they saw it. Number 3, you've got the person that made the purchase. Keep in mind, Diddy didn't go out on the street and get cocaine and TRANK. He didn't. And all these folks that are associated with him that are now under this microscope, they are going to learn whoever talks first gets the deal. Somebody may very well come forward and explain what went down on top of what was seized during these raids. So all 4 of those things can paint a picture.
Cheryl. I can have 50 cops say, I saw him sell a hit. But if it's not tested at the lab, Cheryl, you still don't have a case.
You tell her.
Period. I hear what you're saying. Do you know he used
You tell her, Nancy. Let's go.
it? Yes. Do I believe he used horse TRANK on victims?
Yes.
Yes. Does Joe Scott? Yes. Did
And I believe it too, Diddy, you dirt box.
they find it in his mansion? Maybe. Let's just pretend yes. I still can't prove what substance was administered to those partygoers unless they were tested at the hospital and it showed up. Joe Scott Morgan joining me. I want to follow up. And I appreciate what you said, Cheryl. And yes, I would put it on my board proving guilt, but it's not enough to bring a horse TRANK case. It's just not enough against Diddy. We have to be realistic. We don't want to ruin the rest of the case. Again,
right.
Joe Scott Morgan, I'm talking about horse TRANK.
But honestly, I don't think the case is going to be ruined at all. I know she likes to be dramatic, and I love that about her. But all they have to do is get Diddy, I think with the human trafficking, is like 2 counts. He's got 2 terabytes of video with thousands of people in these videos. God knows what is in these videos. And just 2 counts of the human trafficking. The minimum with the feds, there's a mandatory minimum. Diddy, that's 15 years with that alone. But the way that this is looking, we haven't even talked about the Cassie video that all of us have seen. We haven't even talked about that. And I don't even know if that will be admissible in this, but I don't think that even matters. Because there is already, and I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to say, in my opinion, from what I have seen so far, there is a preponderance, if I'm saying that correctly, which means an overwhelming amount of evidence that says one thing: Diddy, you're a dirt box. Nancy, continue.
Being used on these victims without their knowledge. What about this? A horse TRANK victim has stated, and I'll only call her Jessica, it eats your skin away and you just have a hole and then it leaves a scar. I know horse TRANK.
Diddy, is that what you're doing? Man.
It can cause ulcers, can cause actually like holes in your skin. Why? I mean, look, my first cousin is a horse trainer. Horses are huge. How much do they weigh, Jackie? I mean, hundreds and hundreds of pounds. You know about Google, right? What, Liz? Oh, dear Lord in heaven. 2,000 pounds. If that can knock out a horse, what does it do to a person? So why would this TRANK cause ulcers, cause, as Jessica said, holes in her skin?
I got to tell you, I have not heard this before, but I have heard something similar to this. And I know that covering drug cases, you've encountered this with people that use injectables. If they skin pop, for instance, which means they don't go into a vein, they actually go into the sub-Q fat, and they start to inject this way, you can have ulcerated areas that will appear. So was this drug being administered with a syringe, because I got to tell you, it doesn't sound like the normal course when you're trying to administer something that is the equivalent.
Why do they keep showing this picture of you, Buffy? Mr. Diddler? Why? They have millions of pictures of you on the internet. But why do they keep showing this one? Because it makes you look like someone who just thinks that it's all good, you're partying, you're having fun. But behind those eyes, you are really hot dumpster juice. You dirtbox.
Equivalent of it's serving the same function as a date rape drug. So you would administer it orally. So is she saying that it burned a hole in her mouth? I've had cocaine overdoses before with people.
Diddy, we got you, man. The jig is up. It's over. It is officially hammer time for you.
With chronic cocaine problems that died, and the septum in the nose would ulcerate, and you would have that kind of reaction. But that's over a protracted period of time. This almost sounds like if that's what if we're to believe the
You
statement.
mean like Michael Jackson and his nose falling apart?
Well, no, I think that maybe I can't speak to that, but I know for a fact I've done or participated. Maybe I can't speak to that, but
that's another. Okay, who is this? That face looks familiar. Who's that? Why does he look like he's like right up on Diddy? Is that a rapper? Okay.
But I know for a fact I've done or participated in investigations and autopsies with individuals that had eroded septums as a result of what they were snorting.
Are you saying the septum is that cartilage in the middle of your nose?
Right, that splits your nostrils in two. Yeah. And so you'll get that ulcerated area there. But many times, because these drugs are cut with things, all right, you don't know what the agent is in there that they're cutting it. And the idea here, so our friends understand, they try to extend the life of the drug that they have. So you don't know what the skin is coming in contact with, Nancy.
Well, this is what I know, Joe Scott, from the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Xylazine, which is horse trank, which reportedly Diddy's feeding to his guests in order to sex assault them, unbeknownst to them, is associated with skin wounds, open sores, ulcers, and abscesses. Now, while his...
That is absolutely disgusting, Dr. Dirtbag. Very disgusting.
Party victims are suffering potential skin wounds, open sores, and abscesses. He's not worried. He's chillaxing with some mango, people. Check it out.
With the ocean as your backyard. I ain't special. I just want it. I want it bad. You feel me? I'm not going to allow myself to not have mango. So I hustle hard. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm doing? I'm not doing my way. No, baby.
Thanks, Diddy, for that Insta.
These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
We are learning that his Tony Busby's.
And for those of you that he is talking about who have been at the freak-offs with Diddler, I mean, I don't know if you are aware of this and how modern technology works, but when you delete things off of your phone, they're not really deleted. They're just out of your view. Your phone has backups like the Google Cloud or the iCloud. Okay, and when law enforcement gets involved, most of the time, if you've been doing illegal activities such as the DIddler, they can get court orders, correct me if I'm wrong, attorneys, to retrieve that data. So you are in a fantasy world, believing that you can walk around with all types of wild stuff on your phone and thinking that you're deleting it. Nancy, sick 'em.
Hotline was besieged with 12,000 calls in just 24 hours after our
God.
last program. 12,000 calls in 24 hours.
That attorney got 12,000 calls in 24 hours. The one who's talking about he's got 120 people ready to sue Diddy for damages. Let us proceed, Nancy.
Less than 24 hours. I wonder if any of those calls were from Hollywood celebrities. Listen.
Oh.
If you were attending one of these parties, if you will, and you attended before, or you knew what was going to happen, that is, you knew that a particular drug was being used in drinks that was causing people to be coerced and taken advantage of, and you were there in the room, or you participated, or you watched it happen and didn't say anything, or you helped cover it up, in my view, you have a problem.
Yeah. That's to you, celebs in Hollywood. That is Tony Busby, the attorney speaking, and we were given that from our friend Harvey Levin at TMZ. Lynch.
Tony Busby looks like he's about to get on your hind parts, people, if you were involved. He's about to jump on your hind parts, and you better hope. And I guess depending, yeah, if you did something really sketchy and he can see it like through video, he could be forced to turn you into the authorities. This is not going to go well for a lot of you. All you in the closet freakazoids. You know, I also heard and saw supposedly a picture of Captain Dirtbox. I don't even want to say it. I'll just say this. With an underage boy that was in the single digits in age. I am so done with you, Diddy. Even if it ain't true, just to even have that accusation, which it probably is true, but I know that is one accusation that you can make against people in the world who have not committed crimes on this level. But even if they beat the case, there's still like a stain on their name. Nancy, you talk.
Shaw joining me, founder director Lynn's Warriors, dedicated to ending sexual exploitation. Lynn, 12,000 calls in 24 hours after our last program.
She looks like she is really about to turn up. Let's go.
Horse trank, cocaine, cocktail. Jump in, Lynn.
I don't even know where to start with this, but bring.
There it is. Diddy, can you imagine those 6 people that came out with the guy, the attorney, the prosecutor from the FBI that had those 6 white women who will be the attorneys against you? Can you imagine anyone listening to this what it would be like for you to be in his shoes and have 6 of these women, this one that's on the screen, who looks like she's ready to pull the pistol out. And she is trying to prove to the world how much of a dirtbox you are in court. Let us listen, because she is on go.
Bring back Dr. Bethany right now because I need a shrink over this dirty Diddy. First of all, let's focus on the xylazine. Has anybody seen the images coming out of Kensington, Pennsylvania? Because that is what traditionally media show.
Diddy, you can't win, man. Well, throw in the towel, homie. If you're facing 6 of these, bro, make the deal and get it over with. You should make the deal. Don't go to court. Snitch on a few people. Do what you gotta do. Because if you get up there with 6 of these white women prosecutors, and it looks like let's go. Let's see what's going on here. Let me do that and do that.
Shows you people just flat out in the streets, bend over from the waist, nobody immobilized, nobody moving. Now, I know this is a family program, Nancy. However, we are hearing it's injected also mixed with other drugs, rendering people, they can't move. So let's talk about that. And yes, we work with law enforcement here at the Warriors, and they tell us this is the biggest thing going on, DEA also, that they don't know what to do about this TRANK. It makes your skin fall off. We have seen this over and over again.
Wow.
So this dirty Diddy doing this to people, but again, we have to stick with the...
Now she's rhyming. Dirty Diddy doing this to people. He sounds like she's about to bust a hardcore freestyle about you being dirty Diddy doing dirt box deeds. My God.
Facts. So we've got plenty of facts. We've got 12,000 people that have come forward. We always start with at the Warriors, believe the victim, and then cut it down from there. But 12,000, and last week we heard 3,285. And I also want to focus always on what were reported to be.
Okay, so let's think about that. 12,000 people called in. So Diddy, I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna say we're gonna take that 12,000. We're gonna hit it with 10%. Okay, then we're gonna take the 10%. We're gonna chop it in half. So 12,000, that knocks it down to 1,200. Chop it in half. That's 600. And then I'm gonna do you a solid, Diddy. I'm gonna chop it back in half again for you. 300 of those 12,000. From the calculation that I just did, I'm gonna even do you more. I'm gonna say 50 of them are telling the truth. My friend, you are finito. Game over, Mario. Time.
Minors at the time, and men and boys. We are not putting the focus on that because we at the Warriors think this may just be a whole sex trafficking operation geared towards minors.
This lady, is she with Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving? I don't know, but she is pissed.
And men. That's what we think.
You know, I don't see it. Alex West joining me, investigative and entertainment reporter with The Mirror. I hear what Lynn is saying. At first, I did not accept that there were child victims, alleged child victims. But then when I saw one after the next, after the next, after the next, and so on, of allegations about particular child victims and how they were trying to break into the business and they get to know Combs and then they're assaulted. I mean, are they all lying? I find that very difficult to believe.
Wow.
I wonder, was it the persona that he projected? that makes you think he would not be interested in children. What about it, Alex West?
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things that he did do in terms of getting close to children, he was on Sesame.
Now, I just said I heard about him being with a boy that was in the single digits. I'll just say 9 years old. Ah, Diddy. Like, I think you must, when you were inside of your mother, instead of being in embryonic fluid, you were in like dumpster juice water inside of her, because you are truly a filthy human being. I don't think there's words to describe this filth. But let's let the young lady with the ring in her nose proceed.
Sesame Street. So things like that, you have to remember that he was a mentor to people. At no point did it seem like, he would be nefarious towards children, which is why you might be hesitant to believe it. But when you look at the numbers, there are allegedly 25 minors within the 120 that Busby is planning to file.
You gotta be kidding me, you freakazoid of freakazoids. I wonder what the prisoners, they're probably like putting dibs on who's going to be the first one to stab you while you're locked up. Either that, or everyone put their name on a list inside of the prison that can get to you, and they are going to make you pay all of their commissary on all of their bills, all of their children's bills, all of their household bills. They're going to extort you to keep you alive, to keep the wolves off of you. Not that you can't afford it, but if I were you, I would just pay it, because you are on borrowed time. 25 children on the list. Being accused of one is a lot. 25? Man.
And some of those are very particular stories. So there was a 9-year-old a part of these allegations as well. So like you said, we start seeing like a pattern. We start seeing these stories over and over again. And whether or not they're true, I can't speak to. But we have seen that. He was a mentor to younger people, and that we do know. There's Justin Bieber. There's him appearing on Sesame Street. There's so many times of him being around.
Let us not get started on Justin Bieber, because I don't know if any of you guys saw it. Maybe I'll do a story on that one too, about he was asking Justin Bieber, when Justin was at least, he looked like he was like 14 or 15. Why don't you call me anymore? Why don't you want to hang out with me anymore? And the only thing that I could say about Justin in this video is that he looked nervous. He looked like he was frightened. And then he was like, well, I'll give you my number, is what Justin said. But he was saying that because he looked so scared. Because God only knows what this monster did to him. God only knows. My heart goes out to you, Justin.
Children.
Listen to this.
In both Adams and Cottam's interviews with the music mogul, PR reps kept a close eye on the interview and always steered the conversations back to Combs' successful business ventures. Cottam says Combs sounded like a child, describing himself as young and sexy despite being a 51-year-old father of 6. Cottam says her profile centered around Combs' rebrand to Love, which Cottam now calls a psychopath move to get ahead of the allegations he knew were coming.
That's exactly what I thought of that when he renamed himself. What, Brother Love? Get out of here, dude. You are so full of it.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app, where you can get all of our content, where we, in our own way, seek justice.
So, I will be doing part 2. I'm going to end this right here. This is a lot to really digest. I mean, Diddy, you're in hell right now. And that prison cell that you're in, buddy. And when you leave this earth, you're going to hell. Okay? I don't know how long it's going to take you, how many eternities it'll take for you to get this karma up off of you. But that's your issue, not mine. So anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, also donate to this awesome channel. It's going to be worth your while. I'm going to really build it up and make it one of the greatest places on the internet, on YouTube to go to. And I have merchandise and all that good stuff for you guys too. But more importantly, the goal of my channel is to bring viral news and give my opinions. And also to leave with love, okay? Want you guys to be safe out there. Try to be good all of the time. And you know what? If you do mess up, not like a Diddy mess up, but whatever happens in your life, we all make mistakes. Be repentant about it, and then try to put your best foot forward. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Nancy, thank you, you beautiful spirit, you. And I will be talking to you guys soon. Thank you, and peace.